Hey guys, I've got a challenge for you. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and try writing down as many people's names that you know as possible. It could be someone from school, church, football, anywhere. And you've got 1 minute. Okay, you ready? Go. Now, I hope if you played along, if you didn't play along, I hope at least one name came to mind. And that name is Paul. Because if you guys had forgotten my name, that would have been really sad. And I'm pretty sure you know why. Our names mean something to us. I remember in school, this one person never actually called me by my actual name. They came up to this conclusion that I didn't even look like a Paul. So they wouldn't call me by my name. So when they would shout for me, they would go, "Hey John," it meant that I would never answer them. I didn't even actually know that they were speaking to me. And it's kind of funny, isn't it? Because our names matter. Like it's if you've ever bought a drink from somewhere like Starbucks or Costa and they've written down your name wrong. And that's always been a surprise if they do it to me, because I've never thought it's that difficult to spell Paul, but they've still got it wrong. And I guess it doesn't really matter that much when it's somewhere like that. But when someone gets your name wrong or forgets your name, and it actually is someone you're meant to know, or is just meant to know you, if it's a friend or a teacher, that really hurts. And the reason why is because they're actually meant to know us, to know who we are, that the important people in our lives, the people that we rely on, we turn to them for help when we need it. We expect them people to know our names because it's personal to us. The reality is we all want someone to know our name. We want someone to acknowledge us and make us feel known and seen. When people actually know our name, it becomes personal to us. You may not know this, but you already have someone who does. You have someone who knows your name, and that person is Jesus. Now, your response is either going to be, well, you're obviously going to say that, or doesn't Jesus know everyone's name? And whatever your response, it doesn't actually change. Yes, Jesus does know each and every one of us by name. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. He wants to know you in a real and personal way. Again, it might be difficult for you to believe. Maybe you feel like Jesus would be too busy to notice me. Surely there is far bigger and more important things to do. Seeing he created the whole universe and continues to sustain it. Why would he be bothered about me? Or maybe you don't feel like he's there at all. With everything going on recently, it feels like, how can this even be personal in the first place? You've not heard from him, you've not seen him. Maybe you don't even believe in him. You don't believe he could know your name because you don't know that much about him. How can he who knows me personally when I don't know the first thing about him? That could be because you've never thought about it, because you don't know if he's real or not. So how can that be personal? You could even be thinking, I don't want him to know me personally. You might think he might judge me, You'd care more about how I act and what I do than actually caring about me as a person. It's more about being right or wrong. And if that's what he cares about, you just wouldn't want to be close to Jesus. With the mistakes and the thoughts that I've made, you wouldn't want him to know you personally, and you wouldn't want anyone to know you personally, never mind Jesus. No matter what your thoughts are, however, you think about or feel about, the truth is that Jesus knows your name. Not like Santa knows everyone's name and he's checking their list and seeing if you're good and bad. No, you actually matter to him. He knows your name because to him, it's personal. We can see this in an encounter Jesus had with a guy called Zacchaeus. We find it in the book called Luke, which was written by one of Jesus' followers who spoke to all these eyewitnesses to the things that Jesus did and said. And here we have Jesus coming into a town of Jericho, crowds all around him. You see, by this time, Jesus was really well known. People had seen Jesus do miracles, heal the sick, teach incredible things, and even raise a man to life. And it's no wonder he would have such a following. As he walked through the busy crowds, he stopped because someone caught his attention, and his name was Zacchaeus. Now, Zacchaeus' reputation was a little different, to say the least. It says, a man was there by the name of Zacchaeus, and he was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. Now, we may not see the issue for us here and now, but during this time, a tax collector was awful. No one liked them. They were considered outsiders and traitors because they cheated people out of money. I don't think you'd be surprised if I told you, in that case, he wasn't very popular at all. As he heard Jesus was in town, he wanted to see him. There was one small issue. The literal thing was he was small. And so he had to climb up this tree just to try and sneak a peek at Jesus. And once he'd climbed up, what happened next probably was a surprise to everyone. Not just him, but like the whole crowd. Because when Jesus reached the spot, he stopped and he looked up to Zacchaeus and said, "Come down immediately, I want to stay at your house." Now just imagine for a moment what was going on in this scene. Crowds of people, the most famous person of the day, and they call out your name. It's like now having Jurgen Klopp know you and pick you out of a crowd. Now, if that's not enough, Zacchaeus wasn't even liked. People would have hated Zacchaeus, but for Jesus to notice him and notice him by name, in this moment, Jesus communicated what he saw in Zacchaeus was different to what the rest of the world thought of him and even saw him. He communicated that Zacchaeus was valued. It didn't matter what anyone else thought about him. It didn't matter even what he thought about himself. All that mattered was how Jesus saw him. What's amazing is he sees us in a way. He doesn't just know your name, he uses it too. When Jesus calls you by name, it's an invitation into life with him. When we choose to accept that invitation, our relationship with him becomes real. It becomes personal. It's personal because Jesus knows your name. So what does this mean for you? How does this impact our lives today? How we see ourselves, Jesus, and others? For some of you, it might be taking one step towards knowing Jesus a little bit more. For Zacchaeus, he climbed a tree. Your step might be getting in touch with us or speaking to a friend or a family member to ask questions and find out more. Whatever it is, take a step to get to know Jesus, the one who knows your name. For those of you who already know Jesus in a personal way, you have a relationship with him and know the value of being close to God, who knows you by name. Because of what Jesus did for you, you can do the same for others. You see, Jesus doesn't just invite us into a relationship with him, he invites us to know names alongside him. Jesus said this to his followers: love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it: love your neighbour as yourself. We are told to first love God and secondly love others. As we mentioned at the beginning, how great it can feel when people know our name. We can do this for others. We know when we know someone's name, and use it to talk to them and about them, it gives them the same feeling we spoke about earlier. It's as simple that letting them know that someone else cares about them and it's personal to them. And remember today, it's personal because Jesus knows your name.